You've decided to start a training program. Congratulations. This can be a very exciting and also stressful time. But I'm here to give you a few tips that should hopefully help you stick with things long term and make that entry point that much easier for you. This is a tough time, but if you do some of these things, then you can keep yourself in the game and start seeing some progress that's ultimately going to motivate you even more to keep going. So start small. This doesn't need to be a huge time commitment right at the beginning. In fact, a lot of people can get really good results with a smaller time commitment than what we think we need to have. Instead of working out 5, 6, 7 days a week, really people can get a lot out of just a couple hours a week. So if you're able to do this at home, if you have a home gym and you're able to do it without getting distracted at home, then you cut down on commute time as well, and you're going to see some great benefits from this. But again, you got to be consistent. So start small, 15 minutes a day. So 15 minutes a day, if you're doing this 4, 5, 6 days a week, but just this very short window in your day, I think pretty much anybody can find 15 minutes in their day to do something. Just pick a couple of lifts, a couple of movements that you can do, and take 15 minutes to do 2 or 3 sets of each of them. And instead of cramming everything into a couple of 1-hour sessions each week, you break it up into 15 minutes a day and you do it 4 or 5 days a week. Another approach is 45 minutes to an hour twice a week. Now, this is where I've had a lot of people that I've trained over the years, and it's been fantastic. They've been able to make a lot of progress with this sort of time commitment, both in their personal lives outside of the gym, but also with their weights, their numbers in the gym, weight loss, muscle gain, and so forth. This has been a good way to do it. You can do more, but again, we're looking for a low entry point here to get someone, maybe like yourself, started that is apprehensive about going to the gym or working out in general. 30 minutes 2, 3 times a week. 3 times a week being where I would lean toward, because you're going to get roughly the same amount of time as the 45 minutes to an hour. And again, you can get a lot done in that period of time. So those are a few ideas for you to try out. You can do perhaps a combination of these things if you have certain days where you can commit more time at once, and then you have to spread it out throughout the rest of the week. Figure out what works best for your schedule. Next, stick to the basics. We see a lot of really cool, flashy things on YouTube, on Instagram, or whatever social media platform that you use. You can see a lot of pretty wild stuff on there. You can see a lot of really heavy lifts. You can see a lot of really acrobatic maneuvers that people do. And some of these things, most of them probably are not for you. Stick to the basics, because this really lays out a good foundation for everything else. If you want to try to do some of the more fancy stuff later on, great, go for it. But spend 3 to 6 months building a foundation, and maybe just stay with these movements. That's totally fine too, because these are, again, the foundation of everything else when it comes to movement in general. So doing things like squatting, pushes like push-ups, bench presses, overhead presses, pulls like chin-ups, lat pull-downs, any sort of row variation, hinges, these are your deadlifts, single leg deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, kettlebell swings, carries, carrying weights around the gym or outside. Walking, yes, walking. Walking's very underrated. Get your steps in each day. Get outside. Get your heart rate up, but don't jack it up like crazy. A great recovery tool, if you work out fairly hard, walking, great way to just get blood flowing in the body. That helps to promote recovery in the muscles and other tissues of the body that are damaged from workouts. So walking, really great option. So all of these things should be included in your routine. Now, you can do any combination of these things, and you can do just as little as 2 of them per day. So you could mix a squat with a push. So a bodyweight squat, for example, if you have no equipment, a bodyweight squat and a push-up on a countertop perhaps. Or if you have some equipment, a goblet squat, so holding a dumbbell up at chest level, doing squats with weight. Push-ups, either on the ground if you need to or from your knees. Not my favorite, but still an option if you lack equipment. You can also do lying chest presses with dumbbells as well. Then another day you could do some pulls and some hinges. So some bent over rows with some dumbbells. Hinges, so like a kettlebell deadlift or a dumbbell Romanian deadlifts. That could be another day. And then a carry, so carries and then walking in the same day, sure, absolutely. Or you can mix and match these. My recommendation would be maybe to do an upper and a lower body thing each day to not overdo it on any one structure. But with this, you have a lot of wiggle room because you're not putting too much into one single session. But then you put, at least have one of these each week. You can also do multiple ones each week. So you can do bodyweight squats on one day, and then a couple days later in the same week, you could do goblet squats, and you can mix in different things like that. Lunges are also another good movement pattern that can go into that squat category. Single leg work is very valuable. Take the time to build technique. At the beginning, whatever your goal is, whether it's fat loss, muscle gain, getting stronger, just having more energy to play with your kids, whatever your goal is, at the beginning, make the primary goal initially to build a foundation of technique. So how do we do that? There's a few different things you can do. First, and probably the most important thing when it comes to this, is slowing your repetitions down, doing your movements with intention. A lot of people that start off they just don't know. They just don't know what they don't know. And they kind of go through the motions and they just try to copycat what they see other people doing. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But getting yourself a coach, even just for a short period of time, can go a long way in helping to make sure that you're doing your exercises properly and you're getting the most out of them. So slow down your repetitions and really focus on what you need to be feeling and what you're working, which leads me to feel the muscles that you're intending to work. So if you're doing squats, your muscles that are working, your quadriceps, your glutes, your hamstrings, try to focus on squeezing and using those muscles, and slowing down the repetitions can really help you to think about how these muscles contract as you move your body. So try not to allow gravity to do the work for you, like dropping the weights when you're doing curls, for example, or dropping into a squat really quickly, or dropping a bar to your chest doing a bench press. Control your body or the weight on the way down, and then also control it on the way up as well. And this will, again, allow you to feel those muscles that you're intending to use. And it lets you feel a little bit easier where your body is in space and if your technique is right. But again, getting a coach is probably the best thing that you can do to make sure that your technique is sound. Now, avoid high intensity, avoid high volume workouts. So a lot of people that initially start off, they're really fired up, they're really motivated to get going and change their lives. Now, if this isn't you, you can sort of disregard this, but you may still want to listen up. But avoiding these two things can go a long way in making sure that you're not overstressing your body or injuring yourself as well. So what do I mean by high intensity? Intensity can refer to the speed at which you're moving. If you're running too fast or you're lifting too fast. It can also refer to how much weight you have that you're holding, whether it's a dumbbell or a barbell. And so avoiding super high intensity will also allow you to, again, slow your reps down and feel the muscles work. All right. So heavier weights are not necessarily going to help you feel things more, because you're unable to do it slowly, and you're unable to focus because you're worried about all this weight on your body and whether or not you're going to get the weight up or not. So keep the weight moderate to even lighter, and your pace at which you're running or biking or whatever it is at a moderate pace as well, to allow your body some time to gradually adapt to what you're doing. So if you try to go really hard right from the get-go, your body's not going to respond too well to that, and you could end up injuring yourself. Now, high volume, running long distances, okay? Or doing lots and lots of repetitions each workout. This can have the same sort of effects. It could potentially give you debilitating muscle soreness. It could injure your connective tissues and what have you. So really, these are kind of one and the same, but there are different kinds of programs out there that require heavier weights or higher volumes as well. So try to avoid these things. Try to stick to 1 to 3 sets maximum when you first start, if you're doing some weight training, and somewhere in the area maybe of 8 to 12 repetitions, maybe a little bit less with certain things. But yeah, don't try to start off day one doing 20 to 50 repetitions of something, or super, super heavy weights that are really challenging and testing the limits. Because as a beginner, you're not yet trained and conditioned for those things. Your body isn't ready for them. So give your body a chance to ramp up over time. Now, that being said, you need to eventually increase your intensity or your volume to continue making progress with your workouts. So be sure to not stick around with the same weight or the same reps, the same volume, the same distance you run or walk for very long. You need to gradually build that up. Does that mean you have to go hard every single day? Absolutely not. But your body does need to recover. Myself, I've been training for over 15 years now, and I still take weeks where I go really easy and I let my body recover. I take rest days. I take easier days when I haven't slept enough. If my daughter's kept me up, or if I've just haven't slept well, or I haven't eaten well, or I'm really, really stressed, whatever the case may be, I still do that as an experienced lifter. You have to, because to stay in this game long, to really use fitness as a longevity tool and to improve your health, you want to be balancing the stress and the recovery aspects of training, and for your body's sake. So, if you're a competitive athlete of some kind, the rules change a little bit with that, but not a lot. So I hope this was helpful. Please leave a comment down below. Share this with a friend that you think might find it helpful if they're thinking about starting a workout plan themselves and they might need to hear this. Share that with them. Subscribe and click that like button. Until next time, get strong, live long.